go ahead and start. Usually we have more people than this, but I think maybe everybody figures they know what's going on. Could be I might throw something in there. So, you got to touch base at least, look at the Google stuff. I was not, we didn't have class last week because I was in Michigan, but we're back on track with this week. And if you go to the Google Classroom under classwork, you'll see I have this week lined up. Just a reminder that this is a 4-day week. We have Easter coming up. So we have this Friday off and the following Monday. So this week is a 4-day week. Next week is a 4-day week. So our next class meeting will be on Wednesday next week. Not Monday, because Monday is a holiday. Well, it's not really a holiday. It's a WISD holiday, put it that way. So just a reminder on that. Also, maybe you could jot it down or mention it to your parents. There's going to be a virtual open house on Wednesday, April 7th, which is next week. So from 5:30 to 7:30. I haven't really heard how they're doing that, except that each teacher is generating their own Zoom code. So I don't know how that's going to work in general, but if your parents are interested, that open house is going to be going on next week. So you could jot that date down. Also, I wanted to talk about senior events. A few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago or so now, they posted all of the senior events that are coming up, and we went through all of them and talked about what happens at each one and all that good stuff. So I'll be glad to answer questions, but the honors banquet is coming up on April 13th. I have not heard how that is going to work. They do have a location at the Heinz Event Center, but I haven't heard how they're going to be doing that with social distancing, or how you're going to get invites or any of that sort of stuff. So, so I do have an email into Ms. Bolich in the counseling department to see if we can get some information about that. I don't know how they're going to do social distancing at a banquet. So that's coming up in 2 weeks. So I'm hoping that they get back to me and I can let you know how that's going to go. That is the event where everybody gets their honor stoles. You all picked up your cap and gown on Friday, right? They were here on Friday. Hopefully you did. Definitely, if you haven't read the package, definitely one of the things you should do immediately is get the gown out of the package and hang it up. Those gowns are made from polyester and they are difficult to press, like with an iron. So you can do it, but you have to do it very carefully on a low heat with like a pillowcase or something between the iron and your gown. So make sure that if you haven't already taken it out, hang it out. If you hang it up, a lot of the wrinkles kind of fall out, but you don't want to be the one that shows up with all the squares on it. So if you threw it in the back of your car or something, go and dig it out, hang it up. You can steam it. Probably your mom will know how to deal with it too. But that will be the first event where you're supposed to wear your cap and gown. So like I said, I'll report back to you when I find out from counseling about how the honors banquet is going to work. But that's coming up in 2 weeks. So definitely don't wait until the hour that you're supposed to leave to look at that cap and gown. The cap and gown is actually an ancient symbol. They have been wearing something similar to that since medieval times. So all of us who have earned different degrees, different, diplomas, all wore it. So it's a symbol of your accomplishments, and you should always, dress respectfully of your accomplishments and make sure that it's in good order so that you're proud of all the things that you've done. You've worked hard for, to be able to wear it. So make sure that you plan ahead with those caps and gowns. So they'll be giving out the honors stoles, and also usually they give out the gold tassel. By the way, you choose one tassel or the other. You do not wear both tassels like some kind of pimped out cap. You just wear the gold one if you're honors. So I'll get back to you either next Wednesday or I'll send a message on Google Classroom when they get back to me from the counseling department about how the invites are going out and what's happening with social distancing. And since it's a banquet, everybody's eating, so I don't really know how that's going to work. So, um, I will not be there. I don't get invited to the honors banquet, but the department chairs go to that. So, and then we went through all the other ones. The other ones are coming up later in May, but almost all of those are cap and gown events. I don't know what's happening with the senior parade. I don't know if that's a cap and gown event. I think that's optional. But I think that's it for that. What else? Oh, good news. I don't have good news, but I wanted to remind you that when you get good news, I wish you would share it with me. If you find out that you got a scholarship or, your dream school replied to you and they're offering you a place in the program that you wanted, I would like to celebrate those things with you. We've been working pretty hard all year on those things, so it'd be cool to know that, when you get that information. I know Patty and Myrene and Marilyn all got the Dell Scholars. So I knew about Patty, but I told the Cuenca girls last period that they needed to, I didn't hear it from them. I heard it from Patty. So it'd be good to know how those things are panning out for you, because I'm super excited about all of your accomplishments and all the things that we can celebrate together. It's time of year where we can start celebrating things. So it'd be cool if we could do that. Just send me an email or send me a message on voice or something like that. I know um, um, Erica got a nice scholarship too, so it'd be good to share in our class. The last thing I wanted to talk about today before I talk about the upcoming assignments is the senior blocks. So if you were not in my classroom ever, then you don't know that we paint the wall in my classroom every year. And that started way back with our very first graduating class in 2004. Yes, I know I do not look like I could be that old, but I am definitely that old. And so since 2004, we have been painting. You could see the day before spring break, I painted over the 2020 wall, and now we have this green one, plain and ready for the class of 2021. And so what happens is everybody gets a different brick and we paint them, but we can't do that now because of social distancing. So I have a plan, and that is for you to make your block. I'm going to go ahead and put the class of 2021 up at the top like I always do. And I want to set aside May 7th and May 8th. You can jot it down in your calendar. May 7th and May 8th to kind of have a drop in whenever you can. That's a Friday and a Saturday. To have a drop in whenever you can, come in and put up your block in the spot where you want it. You won't be able to paint it, but you'll come in with it already done. The measurements are 8 inches tall by 15.5 inches wide. So you can get a piece of cardboard or like cardstock or even just paper, make it however you want, and poster board, and just cut it to size, and you can come and put it in your spot, and I'll have goodie bags for you on those days. Probably be the only time I will see you before graduation, likely. So we're going to set aside those 2 days. And I'm thinking if there's 2 days, then it's enough time for people to drop by and not have too many people in the room at the same time. So I did make a post right here with senior block info, and I'll carry this each week forward, but it's got a reminder of the size on it and the dates that we're going to celebrate the seniors by having a little, come and install your block kind of situation. I hope that that will be fun for you. I've got some cute things for a goodie bag that I want to give you all, and hopefully most people will take part in that so that we have, a wall this year. Just in way of kind of showing you how it works, I did put together a PowerPoint. I know I mentioned this several weeks ago, but I did put together a slideshow of all of the walls since 2004. And so maybe this will inspire you a little bit to participate in this tradition. The first year that we had a graduating class in 2004, they kind of challenged us to make sure that there were traditions for the seniors and for the school. And so a lot of the things that you do are things that we originated and thought of that first year, like my wall, the senior parade, what else? Even just some of the cheers that they do at games, some of the starlet dance moves are all go back to that first year that we had, here at school, and I've been here that whole time. So I wanted to just share with you. I'm going to go through them pretty quickly, but I have all of the different walls here. I don't think that's the final 2004. I have to go back and find it. But that one, they were just getting used to the idea back then. That was 2004. How old are those students now? If they were 18 in 2004, somebody do the math for me and put it in the chat. 2005 kind of got into it. They're 30, 35, yeah, 36. Okay. Yeah, my first students, I think they're about 43 or 44 right now. My first students, I started to have parents of my, I started having a couple years ago students whose parents were my students. So that's always fun. So then there's the class of 2005. They kind of really got in on it. I don't know if you know, but Mr. Kalunga was in the class of 2005 and he was in my class, and this is his block. I went back and found it to show you. Mr. Kalunga put in Vini Vidi Vici, which is Latin for I came, I saw, I conquered, and then just a bunch of pictures of his friends and family and that sort of thing. I thought you would think it was fun to think of Mr. Kalunga in my class. 2006, 2007, 2008. Now, I don't know if you could see this block right down here, but if you've ever had Mrs. Ellis in class, she was my student in 2007, 2008, and that's her block. It looks like that. I checked with her this morning to make sure that that was her block. And so she told me, yep, that's the one that she did. It's a little blurry because I had to take it from that big photo, but Mrs. Ellis was in my class too, and she did a block way back then. So like what I'm trying to say is it's been a tradition for a long time, and I want to include you guys this year in that. 2009. Oh, I know what I wanted to show you. Also in 2008, some of you were in my dual class or my AP class last year, and down here at the bottom you can see Omar Figueroa's block. He's a boxer and all that stuff, but last year he gifted us with some special digital notebooks, and that's his block from 2008. He was in Miss Ellis's class. 2009, that was the year that we had swine flu. I think you guys were probably in like maybe kindergarten or not. Maybe you weren't even in school yet. I don't know. We had swine flu, and so we were out for a week and a half in May. And so some of them didn't quite get to finish that year. 2010, you could see things got expanded a lot in 2010. It's a pretty active group. 2011 was the first year that they decided that they had a goal to cover up the whole wall, and you could see that they pretty much accomplished that. So they really worked at it that year. 2012 tried to do the same thing. They had to get in there with their hands to cover up some of these down here. They started using these big blocks about who was going to which college, and so they would put all their names in a block together about what school they were going to. I don't know if you can see this on your screen or not, but this year they did a portrait of me. It's a portrait of me. They kept it a secret. They put papers over it, and I didn't know it. And then they made little notes. It was super sweet, and I cried. 2013 was our 10th graduating class, so we put that in there. 2014, 2015 filled up the whole thing as well, and they wanted to do the windows too. So they also, we got some window markers, and they even went to town on the glass. 2016, you could see they had those different blocks for the different schools there too. Class of 2017, 18. You have access to this, so you can go back and look. If you have somebody that's related to you that you know they were in my class, you can go and find them on the wall. 19, now 19 was the last completed wall that we had because everybody knows what happened last year. But I put their picture up here because it's a reminder that, you know, they had a wall. We just started it right before spring break, which is usually what happens. We start them right before spring break and work on them through March and April and May. And they just never got to come back from spring break and finish them. So left it there for a year to the day. And now we're moving on to 2021. So I don't know, you guys. I put in the green wall and it's good to go. I just don't know what it's going to look like. It'll be like a big mystery to me. But I think even if we put up the posters, we'll use some poster putty to put them up as you create them, and you know, have that celebration time in May. I think that I don't think they're going to look any different than the other walls once we put them up. Once we put them up, I think it's going to look just like we painted them. So nobody will ever know. Well, I'll know, but anyway. So I wanted to keep that tradition going, and hopefully you'll participate. So the thing to do is to, where did I put it? Get yourself, you know, figure out what you want to put on your block. You can see people do all kinds of different crazy things. Some people are artistic and they want to express that. Some people have things that they enjoy, music or different movies or whatever that they enjoy, sports teams. Other people just put their name. And it's not a requirement, it's not a grade, it's just something that we do as a tradition here in my classroom. So I wanted to invite you for that, and you can start going and working on that so that it's not all at the last minute. You don't have to work on it on May 6th before you come on May 7th. Okay. I don't see anything in the chat about that, so hopefully you guys will participate, but that's up to you. And then under assignments, we only have formatives this week on today and Wednesday because Friday we don't have any school. The scholarship evidence and project progress are due on April 14th, which is in 2 weeks. So I just wanted to remind you that you should go back to this document that you did with your group back in January, where we were projecting the phases of our project. I know that I didn't meet with you last week, but hopefully you continued to work on your project. But on the 14th, you'll need to turn into me whatever you said that you were going to complete by the 5th 6 weeks on this chart. I'm going to compare that with whatever you turn in for that assignment. So if you said, oh, I'll have it, you know, this and that and the other up on the website, then you better make sure that you're communicating with the webmaster and that it's up in time for you to turn in a screenshot or the URL, I guess, of your web page so that I can see how it's coming and give you a grade. I would recommend trying to get as much as you can done by the end of the 5th 6 weeks, because the 6th 6 weeks is a short 6 weeks. Plus, in there's going to be AP exams, you know, dual enrollment exams, final projects, all that stuff. So, I mean, I know that this isn't a required class and it does count for your final GPA. However, they're still accumulating your GPA, by the way. In December, they stopped calculating your GPA for rank, but your final GPA through the end of this semester goes on your transcript. So it's important to keep up with that. The grade for this class will be on your transcript. So I want to make sure that you have everything that you could need to get the best grade possible on your website project. So I think it's better if you get more done if you can in the next couple of weeks so that you can just do final touches and things like that in May, and you don't have to worry too much about, you know, an overwhelming amount of work to catch up with the project, because, you know, I feel like that's going to be just extra work that was unnecessary since we've been working on this all semester. So do double check whatever you had put in here in this column, because that's what I'm going to be comparing your whatever you turn in 2 weeks to that. And if you're struggling, you should let me know if you're having trouble finding sources. If in your group there's an interpersonal problem, like the webmaster isn't answering you or something, let me know. In a lot of groups, they shared the same, they can all access the website. But in some groups, it's just the webmaster. So the webmaster has to be really responsive to each person in the group. All right, the other thing that's coming up is scholarship evidence. Hopefully by last Friday, you submitted for the community scholarships, and you can definitely use those for this grade. You're probably going to do them anyway. So I think if you took a screenshot or something like that from that application, then that will suffice. Some people have already done that, I think. 2 people. In the other class, about half the class has already submitted their scholarship evidence. So make sure that you do that before the 14th. And I think those are the major grades that we'll have for the end of the 5th 6 weeks. And the formatives, of course. So any questions? No? Everybody's silent today? It's Monday, I know.
I actually have a question.
Okay.
Do you know if we're gonna be able to decorate our couch this year?
I don't know about that, but I know that Dr. Gamboa has allowed it in the past, so I don't know why not. They decorate them for graduation. They're not usually decorated like at the events that precede graduation. If that matters. Like the honors banquet and all that stuff, people don't usually have them decorated yet. I can ask for you and let you know. Is there anybody who's in the senior class officers and knows if they decided on that or anything? I know they decorated them in 2019, so I don't know why they wouldn't allow it this time. I just don't know what graduation is going to look like this year. Yeah, I'll let you know. Right now, I've been sending emails on different things and trying to get info back. So I'll post it here as an announcement in Google Classroom, but I'll also mention it next time I see you too if I find out between now and then. Yeah, I don't want to say yes or no because it's not my decision, but I don't know why it wouldn't, because they allowed it in 2019. Is our voice? Yeah, right. I'm not. I'm just checking into what they're deciding. You guys need your own voices. Use them. Is there anything else that you're wondering about? Senior stuff or any of that kind of deal? Okay. Well, continue working on your projects. Normally what would happen, you know what? Let's do this. I'm going to talk for a minute about visitors to our class. I want to have 2 or 3 more visitors. I couldn't really do it while we were having our technical difficulties with the campus and the district, but I'm thinking of inviting a couple more people back to our classroom. We already had one student, Joella came to talk to us. He's a student at UT. I was thinking about getting a couple more students. Can you put in the chat the kinds of things that you would like them, if I got a couple more students, to talk about so I can choose the right students for you? Like, are you interested in having somebody talk about semester abroad, or maybe how to deal with roommates or transportation or first generation stuff. You can put in the chat anything that you think it would be cool to have somebody who's in college right now who has that experience come and talk to us about. I mean, last time I was in college was graduate school, and that was 2009, and so that's not really the same experience. So if you would like to help me refine who it is that I select to come to visit us, I would like to pick somebody that has some experiences and stuff that you're wondering about. You know, living off campus versus on campus, or let me see, what are some of the things that they told me? They made a huge list for me. Yeah, dealing with roommates, finances. If you're interested in joining a sorority or a fraternity, I could get somebody who has like multiple of these experiences, and then they can speak to, you know, 4 or 5 different things when they come, and we can cover all our bases there. Yeah, so like whatever you think that you're wondering about right now, internships, you know, what are some good tips? What would they tell themselves, you know, if they could go back in time? You know, what would they tell their senior self about, you know, like the summer before college starts, or like things that they worried about that they didn't need to worry about? So make a list in the chat, and that way I can have, like I printed out the one from this morning so that I could choose for them somebody who was, you know, if you want somebody from A&M, if you want somebody from Texas State or UTSA or UTRGV, what, or degrees, like somebody who's going through engineering, maybe you're looking at the field of engineering, but you don't have anybody in your family who's an engineer. I can get somebody who's in engineering school right now and meets other requirements. So if you pop some things there into the chat, I know a lot of people in college, so I can try to figure out who would address a lot of those different experiences and invite them in the coming weeks to come and visit with us. Then you can answer some questions and someone. Yeah, animal related. Why is Marisa the only one posting in the chat? She's the only one who's paying attention. Everybody else went back to sleep. It's possible. Yeah, so just, I mean, I know that some of you are doing some research on that for your projects, but it's kind of good to have a live person. Then you could use them too in you could quote them in your project if you ask them about that. Nursing school, yep, there's a lot of people in nursing school right now. I mean, I could also get people who are already in the field to come, but I think it's better to choose somebody who's in college right now, because sometimes they change requirements, or then they would have other experiences that they could speak to. Yeah, okay, double majors. Yeah, just go ahead, as you think of things. If you think of more things after we're done, then just email me a little list, and I'll start looking through your list and also second period's list and seeing who I know who fits the bill, and I'll reach out to them and see when we can set up a time for them to come to our Zoom, and then we'll be able to ask them questions and work study, um, that kind of thing. Organizational strategies. There's a new health degree major at UTRGV, yeah. Okay. Yeah, as you can see from the wall pictures, I know people who've been through many different programs. I have students all over the world now, so. All right. Well, I'm going to sign off for today. If anything else comes up that you're thinking, wow, if I'm going to have somebody come and talk to me, I would really like for somebody to talk about whatever their college experiences, then just shoot me an email or put it on voice, and I will add it to the list. All right. So our next class meeting is next Wednesday, because we do not have school next Monday, and we don't usually have class on Wednesday, but we skipped class last week and I don't want to skip another week. So I will touch base with you on Wednesday. I hope you all have a good week. Integrated health science with a concentration in clinical professions. Oh, that's good. I guess that's sort of like their version of pre-med. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that's sort of like pre-med. All right. I will see you all on Wednesday. Happy Easter. Enjoy the rest of your week. If you have any questions in the meantime, just shoot them my way and I'll be glad to help you out. All right. Bye, everybody.